Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Kosas Tinted Oil Foundation. I first want to start off by saying that a number of other YouTubers have done reviews of this product. Two YouTubers and that I've collaborated with have done reviews on this, so I'm going to link Reagan from Indie Boo, her video about this foundation down below, as well as Caroline's video from Cosmetics by Caroline. She also did a video. Those will both be linked down in the description box down below. And I think if you're really truly interested in this foundation, I think it can be really helpful to get a variety of different perspectives on this foundation. I have oily skin, but I know that Reagan has drier skin. Caroline also has a little bit more oily skin as well. So you can figure out based off of what skin type you have, like whose review may be more helpful for you, all of that. But I wanted to give you a review as someone with oily skin because as soon as I heard tinted oil foundation, I was like, ugh, this isn't going to work for me. I have oily skin, like this is not going to end well. I watched Caroline's video and the foundation worked so well for her and she loved it so much that I decided to go ahead and purchase it and give it a try. So I'm going to talk about it here. So first I'm going to show you a demo of me applying this foundation. As you can see, it is super liquidy, like it runs all over the place. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to work with because it is so runny. Like you really have to be careful how much you're applying and kind of watch where it is, otherwise it will kind of drip and run away from you. It may have just been a little bit more of a learning curve for me because I really have not had experience with a liquidy foundation before. Most of the foundations I work with are a little bit thicker in consistency, so they're not as prone to running. So I did have to adjust to that. I have the shade 01 in the foundation, which is the lightest shade. I was at first kind of nervous about the shade range because I believe there's 10 shades of the foundation. I'm always nervous that the lightest shade is not going to be fair enough for me, but in fact it was, and I was actually able to swatch the foundation in person at Credo Beauty. I ended up purchasing it from Alima because I purchased some other things, including the nail polish I have on from Alima Beauty, so I ended up purchasing the foundation from there. But when I swatched it in store, I realized that the lightest shade was actually going to be a pretty good shade match for me. And even though this foundation only has 10 shades, it actually does work for a wide range of skin tones. And how that works is because it's not a super full coverage foundation. It is definitely on the lighter side of coverage. As you can see, I have some kind of red spots from previous acne spots that I had. And even though I don't have active acne on my face, you can see my skin tone is not even. This foundation does kind of help to even out my skin tone, but like you can definitely still see if I have like a big red spot left over from where I had acne. Like it's not going to cover that up. It's not a full coverage foundation. It is definitely a light coverage foundation. And because of that, you can kind of fudge the shade range a little bit. This shade 01, it would be too dark for me if I were a more full coverage foundation, but because it is a lighter coverage, it does work for me. The one thing that really impressed me about this foundation though is it is so lightweight. Like it really does not feel like you have anything on. So if you are someone that wants a little bit of coverage, kind of even out skin tone, but you don't want to feel like you are wearing foundation, this foundation is great for that. You have to be really careful to shake this foundation prior to using it. It does say that on the bottle, but like one day I forgot to shake it. I don't know. I just squirted some out without actually shaking it. I got oil without pigment coming out, so you definitely need to make sure to mix it well. So when I like to apply this foundation, as you can see in the demo, I use a brush. Kosas says that you can use your hands to apply it. I have tried that. It does work well for me. I am just preference-wise more of a brush kind of girl. Like I just prefer using brushes to apply my foundation. It does work both ways for me. So this foundation comes in a unique bottle. I really appreciate the packaging of this product. I've not seen anything like it. It's kind of a rectangle foundation bottle and it's very thin. And it has this black cap and then the white packaging, it says Kosas on the side. Sorry, this is gonna be messy because this foundation is so runny, but this is what the dispenser looks like. You shake the foundation up. We'll see if you can hear it. It kind of sounds like a spray can, but it has some component in here that actually helps to mix the foundation well, which I appreciate. So when you do shake it, you do get a very well mixed foundation. The size of this foundation is 1 flow ounce. So that's pretty much a standard for foundations. Typically they are 1 flow ounce. And the price of this foundation is $42. I've seen more expensive foundations. I've also seen more affordable foundations. So it's kind of, I'd say, middle to higher end of price range. So let me get into my thoughts about this foundation. So like I said, I have oily skin. So my first fear when I heard about this foundation was it was going to be super oily and it was just not going to work on my skin. What I was really surprised by is, you can see this in the demo, it does not look oily at all when you put it on your skin. It looks very just kind of like a skin-like finish. It's not dewy, it's not matte, it's just very kind of right in the middle, which surprised me so much and made me really happy when I saw that. I filmed the demo 4 hours ago and I have been wearing the foundation for 4 hours. I have not done any touch-up. I always set my foundation with the Alima Pure Satin Matte Foundation, but that is my standard, that is what I always do. And so I haven't blotted or anything. And you can see that I definitely have become a bit dewy, but the foundation is not breaking apart at all. And that's one thing I really like about this, is I will get more dewy throughout the day. I will do that with every single foundation, though this foundation does it more than the Ilia True Skin foundation and more than the Au Natural Stick foundation. So it definitely gets a little bit more dewy than those, but it doesn't break apart at all. So even at the end of the long day, like if I check tonight, it's 2 o'clock now, if I check again around like 8 or 9, it's gonna look more or less like this, just more dewy, but it's not going to be broken apart. So I really appreciate that about this foundation. Is it my favorite foundation I've used? No. And I've come to realize that I am a little bit more of a full coverage foundation girl. And I think that preference does come from having acne. Like, shockingly, what I realized when I filmed this morning, I did not actually have any active acne spots, but as you could see, there were definitely like red blotches on my face. What that means is that I always seem to have some kind of discoloration on my skin. And so when I wear a more full coverage foundation, something like the Au Natural Stick foundation or the Ilia True Skin foundation, I don't have to do as much concealing because those do more to cover up those discolorations than this one does. When I enjoy wearing this one is when I want something that's really fast, really quick for more no makeup days. And I could see this being really great, for instance, for traveling, because often when I travel, I tend to go very minimal with my makeup. I wear a lot less makeup than I do on a daily basis. And so that foundation could be good for traveling because you can just throw it on and you don't even need a makeup brush. Like, you could just put it on with your hands and be good to go. I find the foundation blends out really easily. It's a good mixture of not drying too quickly or drying too slowly. Like, some foundations dry so fast, like the 100% Pure Healthy Skin foundation, that one dries like so fast that it's hard to blend out. And then I have other foundations that kind of take a while to dry, and so you have to kind of give them a chance to dry before you can put on any blush or anything like that. It blends in an appropriate amount of time where you can get it blended out, but you still don't have to wait for a long time to do the next steps in your makeup routine. I have tried it on top of the Prime and Set powder from 14E, which I like to use as a primer. This doesn't mesh great with that powder. It's not, like, some foundations work better with it than others. That combination is just not my favorite. So I typically just put this on top of my morning moisturizer. I don't go ahead and use a primer. I also don't like using a face oil, like the Bristol & Sussex oil, under this foundation, because then that's just too much oil. I think it's a very interesting formula because it is not dewy, but it's not matte. It's like so middle of the road that I do think this can work for a lot of skin types. And if you're curious about it and you have oily skin and the word oil in the foundation is kind of scary, it does work really well and it doesn't break apart. My overall thoughts is it's a really good foundation. I enjoy it. It works really well. It's just not my favorite because I personally prefer something with more coverage, but it's a foundation that I definitely enjoy using. There is a purpose for it. I like reaching for it and I will continue to reach for it. It probably just won't be as much of a staple as like the Ilia True Skin or the Au Natural Stick foundation because I like the coverage of those better. But this, in terms of performance, in terms of wearability, in terms of ease of use, is a really good foundation. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my Instagram. I'll have my handle down below. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirl. And once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions about this foundation, be sure to leave those in the comment section down below. And also check out Reagan's video and Caroline's video to hear some more opinions about this foundation as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.